All right, it has been a busy day, but I have the final 49ers injury report for you as they get prepared to play this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I already know you've heard this news, so we'll go over it very quickly. Ricky Pearsall was activated from the NFI list, and he will make his NFL debut against the Kansas City Chiefs. Super, super exciting, super hyped, super happy. We just got done with a live. We've made multiple videos on it already. It's a very, very exciting time, and everyone's looking forward to seeing Ricky Pearsall step back out onto that field. But there are some additional news and notes to come out of this game. So, part of why I do think Ricky was activated for this game, not because he wasn't able, but I think if maybe Jauan Jennings could go for this game, they'd be like, yeah, well, let's take it easy. Let's ease him back. But because Jauan Jennings is officially ruled out against the Kansas City Chiefs with a hip injury, I do think that makes the need for Ricky to be activated because they need more bodies at the wide receiver position. So, obviously, with Jawan being down and him being the third guy up in that wide receiver room, that is asked, the question that's been asked is, well, where does Ricky fit into that? I would assume he probably slides into kind of that role. I don't know if exactly. I would assume Chris Conley gets some looks as well. But I do think that Ricky will probably be out there and he will get some opportunities to get his hands on the ball. I do think Ricky Pearsall will most likely be used as the punt returner, and then we'll see what his impact is on the actual offense moving forward as well. But we also found out that the 49ers second kicker, Matthew Wright, has been officially placed on IR. So that actually probably ends his time with the San Francisco 49ers. And as a result of that move, the 49ers elevated the other kicker in which they've signed to the practice squad earlier this week, Anders Carlson. So that will be the first time we see him. So that is three kickers in 3 weeks. Nothing to be worried about, folks. That I would say that honestly, if I had to give you my reaction to that, that would be the thing that is stressing me out the most about this Chiefs game is the fact that we have an unknown at kicker. Just from the simple fact as we as a collective, I didn't pay attention to the Packers kicker last year when he kicked for them, so I don't know. I have no idea what to expect. Um, so it's a bit of a okay, let's wait and see situation with that. So we will continue to monitor the situation with the kicker moving forward. But there are more things to discuss. These two guys found themselves definitely worrying some fans with their availability for this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Jordan Mason obviously had to leave Seattle Seahawks game with an injury, wasn't able to return. And the 49ers had to rely on Patrick Taylor and Isaac Rendo. And those guys actually played really well. And also, too, we found out a bit of a surprise pop up on the injury report for the game was Deebo Samuel was limited earlier in the week with a wrist, and he was wearing a blue non-contact jersey. Now, Jordan Mason was also wearing the blue non-contact jersey throughout the week, but both have been removed from the injury report, which means they are good to go against the Kansas City Chiefs. So, good news there. So these guys, Deebo and Jordan Mason, you got them in your fantasy, fire them up. They're good to go. So that is also a good sign for this game. Daryl Lutter Jr. and Kevin Givens are both officially questionable for this game. I don't know really where the injuries happened. They might have been happened in practice. So we'll see what their availability looks like for the game. So it's TBD at the moment. But obviously, some other names that you haven't seen, Malik Mustafa, who actually started the week working off to the side and not practicing. isn't on the injury report. So that is a really good sign. So expect Malik Mustafa to be back in the starting lineup out there and doing that good stuff. Malik Collins, who also didn't practice throughout this for I think the Wednesday practice, he is removed from the injury report as well. So that's a good sign. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles will return and Charvarius Ward, who did not play in the game against Seattle, is not on the injury report for this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's huge. And obviously, we've talked about this before, but it's also his old team, and so he hasn't been able to beat his old team yet. So that's another guy that you're rooting for to kind of be able to get a win against the Chiefs, obviously amongst the 49ers. But also defensive lineman Jordan Elliott, who's dealing with a knee, has kind of been in and out. He is removed from the injury report. So a long one, a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of names on the list. Obviously, Jake Moody is out. We know this. But some good, some not so good, some exciting, all kind of mixed into one big final report for the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm looking forward to this game personally. I think I've talked about it all week. We've talked about why this game is important, not because it changes anything of the past, but because I think it changes something for the future. If you win this one, it removes a level of anxiety out the way that maybe you might have. That's like maybe either subconscious, unconscious mind, just like we can't beat the Chiefs. We're 0-4 against the Chiefs. They've talked about it all week. Players, coaches, general manager just talked about how they haven't been able to get past the Chiefs, and they're playing against a really good team in the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. This is going to be a hard fought battle. I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think it's probably going to be a last possession type of game. Just always feels like that's how these types of games go. And so I imagine I'm going to have quite a bit of anxiety throughout this one, but I really am hoping at the end of it, we're talking about a W. We're talking about, all right, we got the monkey off our back for now. And we get the first one against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think that would help present and provide a bit of confidence if the 49ers were going to face the Chiefs again. So it's a big one. It's a big one. It's a big one for momentum of the season. Again, getting out from being having a losing record or being 500, this gets them above 500. So you definitely want to see them come out and get the dub here. But man, crazy week. A lot of stuff happening. But now we're almost to that point where it's time to rock and roll and get this thing going. So let me know what you guys think about all these, uh, injuries, moves, everything in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.